Hi, my name is Mateo. This is Nilo. We're part of the Nube family, and you are in our home. We've been living in this house for approximately 13 years, and our family's been in the South Berkeley, North Oakland neighborhood for on and off 30 years. And we live here next to some of our best friends. It's a house, it's a community of two homes. We've torn down the fence in the back, so we share a lot of space together. And today we're going to let you know a lot about our rainwater and gray water systems that we've created that are a real joy to have as part of the infrastructure in this home. So a big aha I experienced about 15 years ago was realizing, oh wow, I've been purposely made illiterate about home. And when I use the word home on purpose because ecology, like eco means home. Ecology is the knowledge of homes. Like, wow, I don't understand how my watershed works. I don't understand how my food shed works. Like, we get taught all these irrelevant things in school, like dates of wars, but we don't get taught, like, where does our water come from? So this infrastructure is something we all need to have access to and build as fast as possible, or else we're going to be in serious trouble. But the good thing is there are many ways of managing home. Economy is managing home. So if mismanagement of home has been globalized, we can reclaim proper management of home. And that's what we're doing here and what we all need to scale up towards. So welcome to our backyard. This is what I was telling you about. This was the fence. It mostly no longer exists. So the two homes share this whole back lot, and this, when we moved in, this was all weeds and overgrown, and it actually had a lot of decay in terms of old garbage and stuff that we had to remove. So everything you see here we created, or we co-created. We grow a lot of food. We have annuals and perennials, and on the whole outskirt of the whole property we have over a dozen fruit trees. So everything from Asian pears, European pears, apricots, grapes, a bunch of stuff. And then we have a whole rainwater system. There's 3 components to it that probably capture close to 2,500 gallons of water. Great. So I mentioned we have 3 different rainwater catchment systems here. There's 2 that are, maybe a lot of you are familiar with, 50-gallon containers that are just daisy chained. So we have 2 on that side of the properties. But the one I'm showing you right here is the one we're proudest of. It's one huge system that captures 1,600 gallons, and it captures it from, this would be the east side. It's 1/4 of the roof, and up there is where the gutter captures the water. This is the first flush, and then you'll see a drape across here, goes down, and it just skirts the fence all the way up there, and in a moment you'll start seeing the actual container. That big green container captures 1,600 gallons, and it fills rather quickly, meaning 1 or 2 good rains of the ones we used to be used to will do it. And again, I mentioned that's 1/4 of this roof, so we're capturing a portion of the potential of rainwater from roof on this property alone. We could capture a lot more. So the element that I think is most fascinating about this rainwater barrel, again, I mentioned it's 1,600 gallons. Where Nilo is sitting, the top, this is where the water comes in from the catchment. As long as this part is lower than where the water's coming into the piping off of the roof from the gutter, as long as this is lower, gravity does all the work. People often ask me, do you have a pump? How does this work? No, it's gravity. Even though, we're negotiating about 30 feet of pipe to get here. Actually, even, I think it's more, maybe 40 or 50. Gravity's still pushing it up in. And this is at an incline. So this barrel is on higher ground than that roof, but nevertheless, the weight of the water and gravity gets it here, which I just think is super cool.
These are some of the other barrels that are daisy chained together. There's a small pipe here that leads into some of them and brings the water in. There's also this pipe, which we're repairing right now, so it's not connected, that leads the water into here.
Great. So we also have gray water systems, meaning the laundry machines in both houses are connected to piping that then feeds the water from the washing machine into the garden. So where Nilo's at, you'll see, can you show them? Yeah, there's multiple outlets that are feeding multiple trees and other things in the garden coming out of Mark and Michelle's house. Great, so one of the really important and interesting parts of the story of what you've seen on the grounds here is that Michelle, my neighbor, and I, we have been part of an organization called Movement Generation, the Justice and Ecology Project, for almost or over 15 years now. So all of the infrastructure I'm talking about, the gray water systems, the rainwater systems, the compost toilet I'm about to show you, most of that has been installed through workshops that our organization has co-hosted with experts who do this kind of installation. And most of the labor has been volunteer labor of folks learning like ourselves how to do this. So we haven't built this just to have it ourselves, but actually to demonstrate what we need to build at scale, at a municipal and a bioregional level, to actually live in a sustainable way with our watershed and our energy shed and the rest. So in here, there's what's known as a dry toilet or a composting toilet. I lift it up here. There's no smell and there's no plumbing. So people sit down, and if you do number 2, you just use some of this on top of it, and when the urine we capture and use it as fertilizer. We just mix it with water, usually 4-to-1, 5-to-1, and it's great fertilizer, particularly for the fruit trees, for example. And then we actually cure the feces. So we put it in big barrels. It stays there for a year or 2, and the bacteria and all the rest is burnt, and then we can use that too. We don't put it on, say, a lettuce bed. We don't put it on edibles, but a fruit tree, for example, will love it. It's golden. And then similarly, you'll see a shower in here, and the shower here is gray water as well. So it pipes out to some fruit trees right behind it and some other plants. So that water is captured by the property as well and is used on site. So I was talking about the dry toilet, the composting toilet. So here we have these white containers is where we capture the urine. And as I mentioned, you mix it 4-to-1, 5-to-1 with water, like 4 parts water, 5 parts water, 1 part urine, and it's excellent fertilizer. And although it may seem counterintuitive, it's a great fertilizer amongst other reasons because it's sterile. So you can actually put it on, you don't pour it on the edibles itself because you're trying to feed the roots, but it's great fertilizer. And then here, is the more complex stuff that you need to actually treat with care. These are the barrels where we put the feces, and we let it cure for at least a year. And this you don't put on edible bed. You don't put it, like I said, on a lettuce bed. You feed it to a fruit tree, for example. And as long as it's like sealed, but has some space for oxygen to get in, the curation is happening. So we're in the laundry room on our side of the house. So this is one of the gray water systems. So there's piping behind this washing machine that gives you an option. If you're doing your regular wash and you use something like this, which is specifically designed to be garden friendly, meaning there's nothing in this Oasis laundry detergent that could hurt plants, it's complementary, then the water, every time you run the washing machine, can feed into the garden. So the piping right now is done in such a way that every time we run the laundry, there's piping that goes under the house, kind of in the crawl space. That's where we installed it, and feeds a fig tree, an apple tree, and other things in the front of the house. Now, if you ever I have some whites that got stained, I need to use a little bleach. All I need to do is handle the switch in the back of the laundry, and then it moves it. Instead of going into the gray water system, it goes into the regular ebb mud piping, and we'll just go to the regular sewage system. So it's very, very straightforward, very easy. Anybody can use it. So we're at the front of the house. This is the piping that feeds out of the crawl space that traverses the whole house from the back where the laundry machine is, and it comes out here and pops out. And basically the water, every time we do laundry, this fig tree is happy, this apple tree is very happy, that geranium and all of these ornamentals. This is marionberry that's just starting to show some leaves, so we get delicious berries. So there's a lot happening here. This nasturtium is really thankful that it's getting regular water. So yeah, this whole front, it lives off of the dirty laundry that we decide to wash. thanks so much for visiting with us and learning about what we've built in this home. And one of the reasons we're very excited to feature it is because the truth is, every home should look like this. And more importantly, it should be the kind of thing where it's not just homeowners who can afford to do it that get to do it, but we actually should have subsidized programs that ensure that, be it a rental apartment building or a single family home, every place has been retrofitted. For example, that rainwater system I showed you, we could be popping open every intersection in this neighborhood and dropping in a 10,000, 20,000 gallon capturing system and daisy chaining a bunch of roofs in this neighborhood, and then we'd all have rainwater. There are many different ways for us to rethink creatively how to, for example, adapt to living in drought country. But the point is, we need to scale it up, and we need to ensure that everybody has full access to things like water, which are a human right. So I appreciate you visiting in our home to learn about this.